Hello everybody, Ketari here, and welcome back to our 5th lesson. Today we're going to be going over general callouts. So if you don't know, when you're playing the game, it's usually a good idea to cooperate with your teammates. And if you need to say like you cleared an area, or there's an enemy in that specific location, or how many enemies are there, you gotta know where that location is and how is that location called. So, today we're going to be looking at some of the most common locations that are going to be used in every single game to call out enemy positions. So let's look at our map here. We have a map of ascent. So we have our A side here and our B side here as usual. So what are the main callouts? Well, here's the list. There's A and B main. There's attacker spawn, defender spawn. There's mid top, mid bottom, and hell and heaven. So I'm going to be looking over all of those in detail, each by their own. Let's start with attacker spawn and defender spawn, the two of the easiest ones. Obviously, you have attacker spawn and defender spawn. Very simple. That's just where the enemies spawn. So let's say there's someone flanking from A, and he's flanking through here and going into attacker spawn. You would tell your team that I'm gonna flank through attacker spawn if you're defending. And this works perfectly fine. So that's the same thing can be applied for defender spawn. If you're flanking through defender spawn, you can tell your team that, hey, I'm gonna flank from defender spawn. Can you wait a second so we go in together, or something like that. The other three main callouts, they all have their own category. So let's look at A main here and B main here. First of all, what is a main area? A main area is somewhere where the enemies are most likely going to go to attack a site. So in this case, for A site, to get to A site, the enemies will most likely take this path right here. So this area right here would then be called A main. And it's the exact same thing on B site. To get to B site, the enemies will most likely take this path to go on B site. And this area right here is exactly B main. So a main area, again, is just an area where the enemies are most likely going to go through. Next, we have mid-top and mid-bottom. Now, just in general, there's a thing called mid. And middle is usually the area that is in the middle. In this case right here. Now, not all maps have this. For example, Fracture does not have a mid area. But those are exceptions. And most maps do have a mid area. Most notably known for this is Split. So mid-top is usually the area that is higher elevated than mid-bottom. In this case, this is higher elevation than this area. So this would be called mid-top, and this would be called mid-bottom. Like shown on the map here. You can also say A mid or B mid, and that means that the enemies are going through mid and going either to A, or they're going through mid and they're going to B. So both of those are also options for callouts, for general callouts that it is nice to know. And the last two I want to go over is heaven and hell. And this is really simple. Heaven and hell is usually in an area like here, where there is two different levels. There is a higher up level and a bottom layer. So the upper layer is called heaven and the bottom layer is called hell. So if I go into a custom game on Haven here, I will show you how that looks like. So we're gonna take Haven as an example because it has a very distinct difference between Haven and Hell. Or Heaven and Hell.
I get literally everything on this battlefield. Yeah, even the
I forgot to turn on cheats. It doesn't matter. So, on A side, on Haven here, we have the two areas. We have here and we have here. That on top is called Heaven, and that on the bottom is called Hell. So usually when there's two areas like this, the top one is going to be called Heaven, the bottom and it's going to be called Hell. So that's two more callouts that it is a good idea to memorize them and remember them for the future. That's pretty much it for general callouts. I'm not going to go into every single callout in detail because that's going to be a pain of an ass to describe. But the general callouts are again attacker spawn, defender spawn, A main, attacker spawn, defender spawn, A main, B main, mid top, mid bottom, Heaven and Hell, and mid to A, and mid to B, or the other way around. That covers pretty much all of the map. There is actually one more callout, and that is the callout site, name of site, and then back. What does that mean? It's the area behind the site. So in the case of B site, we have this area, which is behind B site, and this is called B back. Anyways, that will be everything for today. I hope that made sense. Try to memorize all of these and use them in your games, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!